Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of English in Practice. It's Kareem with you, your English teacher. In today's episode, I'll talk about 5 idioms that we can use in our daily lives. The first idiom for today is break even. Now this idiom is used when talking about money, specifically when we want to say that I have not lost or I have gained some money. Now, let's have an example to see what this idiom means and how to use it. The first example is, I did pay $100 to have my car fixed, but I broke even when I won $100 in the contest. Now, let's assume that I have a car and this car was broken down. This car just stopped working. So I need someone to fix it for me. But of course, who would fix my car for free? So I have to pay money to have my car fixed. So basically, I lose $100. I basically pay $100 to have my car fixed. Now, so far, I have lost $100. Now, after that, I win $100 in a contest. So I did lose $100 to fix the car, but I also won $100 in the contest. So I basically did not really win any money, and I did not really lose the money because the same amount of money I paid to fix the car is basically back. So this is the meaning of break even. Now let's have another example to see how to use this idiom in a different situation. Example number 2. I have to sell 1,000 books to break even. Now, I'm using the idiom in the present tense now, just to show you that I can use it in different situations. In this example, let's assume that I'm the owner of a bookshop. I have my own bookshop. I have my business now. Now, in order to establish a business, or basically the bookshop I'm talking about in my case, I need an amount of money. Now, I did pay that amount of money, but now I need to get that money back. So, I basically have to sell 1,000 books to get this money back. Now, in this case, I will break even, which means the money I paid is going to be back, which means I did not lose any money and I did not win any extra money. The second idiom for today is to go Dutch. To go Dutch is also used when talking about money, but it's used when we want to say that each person should pay for themselves. Let's have examples to see what that means. When my friends and I eat out, we go Dutch. So in this case, when we go Dutch, we don't just ask one person to pay for every single one of us. It's basically every person in this group pays for themselves. I pay for the order I ordered basically. I pay for my order. My friend pays for her or his order, and so on. The third idiom for today is as cool as a cucumber. Now, yes, I do have the word cucumber in this idiom, but this idiom has nothing to do with cold cucumbers and food. This idiom is used to describe people. Yes, to describe people. Now, let's imagine this. I have a friend called Sam, all right? Now, Sam did something wrong. Because he did something wrong, I expect Sam to be sorry and regretful. I expect Sam to come back and apologize to me. Now, Sam came back, but he was as cool as a cucumber. Now, in this example, I'm basically telling you that Sam did something wrong. But when he came back, he did nothing to apologize. He was not sorry, he was not regretful. I expected him to be sorry, but he was not. He was as cool as a cucumber because I expected him not to be calm and relaxed. So the meaning of as cool as a cucumber is to be calm and relaxed, especially when people around you don't expect you to be so. The fourth idiom for today is compare apples with oranges, or you can say compare apples and oranges. Now, in this idiom, I have apples and oranges, but this idiom has nothing to do with apples and oranges. It has nothing to do with fruits in general. However, we all know that apples and oranges are different. They taste differently, they look differently, they are basically two different things. So I use this idiom when I want to express the same idea. When I want to say that I have two things, but these two things are very different from each other. Let's have an example. Let's imagine that we have two people. I have Sam and I have Sally. Now those two people are having a conversation, a little conversation about something. It's like they're trying to express their opinions about something. Sam says something like this: I believe reading a novel is more amusing than watching a movie. Sally looks confused and says, well, Sam, you are comparing apples and oranges here. They are two different things. What Sally means in this context is that comparing reading a novel to watching a movie are two different things. You can't really compare them. That's why she used the idiom, you are comparing apples and oranges here, because she's trying to tell him that watching a movie and reading a novel are two different things and you can't really compare them. The last idiom for today's episode is eat like a horse. Now, I should warn you that this idiom has nothing to do with horses and no one is going to eat any horses today. However, eat like a horse is an idiom that we use with food. Now, if someone eats like a horse, that means this person eats a lot of food, and we know a lot of people like that. Now, let's have an example. When Sam comes to visit us, we cook a lot of food because he eats like a horse. Now, in this example, I'm basically telling you that every time Sam decides to visit us, we prepare a lot of food because we already know that Sam consumes a lot of food. He eats a lot. This is not the case with every person we know. Not all the people I know, for example, eat a lot of food. They don't eat like a horse. I know some people who eat like a bird. Now, those people eat less food, eat a small amount of food. So if Sam was a person who eats like a bird, I could say something like this. When Sam visits us, we don't cook a lot because he eats like a bird. And you know, a bird is really small, so a bird doesn't really consume a lot of food. Well, that's why we use this idiom. So basically, I'm telling you that Sam doesn't eat a lot of food, so when he comes to visit us, we don't cook a lot of food. Today, we learned 5 idioms that we can use in our daily lives in different situations and different contexts. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Thank you very much. Stay safe. I'll see you soon.